In the following segment, we experienced the Peace and Wellbeing Conference and the International Pledge for Peace, which took place in Brussels, Belgium, hosted by the European Union. The keynote speaker for the conference was Prem Rawat, who is recognized around the world as a leading voice for peace and an international humanitarian leader. Also speaking was Jeremy Gilley, founder of Peace One Day and the initiator of the successful campaign to designate September 21st as the official date of the annual UN International Day of Peace.
Honourable Gianni Pittella, first Vice President of the European Parliament, hosted an international conference in Brussels entitled Peace and Wellbeing, the Founding Values of the European Union. The keynote speaker, Prem Rawat, known internationally as Ambassador of Peace, addressed an audience of 250 dignitaries from across Europe. They gathered to sign a declaration of intent to foster peace among people of the world, calling for each individual to make a pledge to peace based upon the founding values of the European Union. 26 international institutions represented at the conference signed the pledge, now known as the Brussels Declaration. Initiated by Mr. Pittella and inspired by the message of Prem Rawat, the pledge is a call to action for peace initiatives to be created immediately across Europe and in other participating countries. These initiatives will then be announced at the International Day of Peace 2012, an annual event created by Jeremy Gilley, who also spoke to the delegation.
I realised there was no day of peace, and that's when I decided, could I take my film camera around the world and see if we could manifest the first ever peace day voted by every head of state in the world. So I travelled Burundi, Somalia, Gaza, the West Bank, India, Sri Lanka, all over Europe, North America.
The event was chaired by Anthony Selden, historian, Master of Wellington College, UK, and the official biographer of British Prime Ministers.
The history of mankind is the history of warfare and violence, but it's also the history of great kindness and humanity and love, and that love will triumph.
Mr. Pittella's speech highlighted the importance of everyone's contribution. He said, "Peace is not only a goal of great men, but a duty entrusted to all of us." Mr. Pittella's vision is for the Pledge to Peace to become an official annual event for the EU institution. Students from the Norwegian Red Cross World College then had the opportunity to ask Mr. Pittella and Mr. Rawat questions on the topic of peace and well-being.
School that I'm from, our mission statement is to create peace through education.
The formal event concluded with a Pledge to Peace signing. Before this took place, 3 of the signatories spoke to the delegation about their reasons for wanting to participate in this pledge. Mr. Jeremy Gilley from England, founder of the Peace One Day movement, with widespread participation in observance of a day of peace around the world, will be responsible for reporting actions arising from this pledge.
I think it's wonderful that there is a peace pledge. I think it's wonderful that we're all here in the European Parliament having these amazing conversations, because that's what it's about. We need to believe in peace, we need to talk about peace, we need to carry out activity towards a more peaceful world.
Mr. Samanto Roy, representing the Sahara Group from India, talked about his vision of peace for the company's 1 million employees, as well as its 6 million customers that it interacts with on a daily basis. The formal event concluded, and a group photo of the speakers, dignitaries and delegates was taken as a remembrance of the event. Following this, Prem Rawat, Mr. Pittella, Dr. Selden and the Pledge to Peace signatories were interviewed.
Very good. How are you? It's lovely to see you again. Good to see you. Looking very well as ever. Kevin Everett.
Yes, of course.
Very good to see you.
Good to see you. Nice to see you.
And Jeremy Gill from
Nice to
Peace
meet
One
you.
Day.
It's the power of people. It is the people who have to emerge victorious.
I agree on this point.
And this disaster can be foretold because it is supposed to be the few that work for the many. This is democracy, few that work for the many. Thank you. Thank you. For you.
Thank you very much.
Now, I could talk for over an hour just on this subject, people. Because we look at ourselves by our name tags. We look at ourselves with the hats that we wear, by the uniforms that we wear. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? But people, we are all people. We are human beings. And human beings desire peace. Is peace a luxury or necessity? This is a fundamentally important question. Fundamentally important question. We know that breathing is not a luxury, it is a necessity. We know that water is not a luxury, it is a necessity. We know sleep is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Is peace a luxury or necessity? I am not here to impose my opinions on you, but I say to you that peace is a necessity, not a luxury. I have seen very rich wanting peace, and I have seen very poor wanting peace. Wherever I go, that's what people want. People want simple things at the end of the day. What I have seen is people want is a little elbow room so they can practice their religion, they can love their family, they can have food to eat, they can have a place to stay, and they can do what they want to do to be happy. This is what people want. But when you have the elements of greed, when you have the elements of fear, when you have the elements of anger, when you have the elements of confusion come in between people and their own desires, everything becomes very convoluted. And this is what is happening. You can see it all around. This is what is happening. Will institutions bring peace? No. 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 Why? Because peace already is inside of everyone. What institutions can do is to help people find that peace within them, not create it. We think that peace is absence of war. Peace is not absence of war. Peace is something else. And it begins with you and me. Each one of us.